Monday, 27th of October 2024, and we'll be continuing our Damodarastakam third verse study today. Yesterday we discussed about Virachandra or Virabhadra, and I couldn't offhand just remember the name of the book where that's all written. It's called Nityananda Vistarya, and it's by Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. So Vrindavan Das Thakur is writing all those pastimes that I spoke yesterday. I'll post it on our WhatsApp thread, the title. But there is some controversy about the translation, which is why I didn't go more detail about it. So, but anyway, that's the book if people want to check through the fidelity of those pastimes with the three deities that he carved from the stone, the black rock, etc., and the interaction with the Kazi. This is all in the Nityananda Vistarya by Vrindavan Das Thakur. So we'll sing our Damodarastakam. Oh, and today the Pujapad Bhaktivedanta Madhav Maharaj, he's taking his Parikrama on the inner Manasi Ganga Parikrama, starting with Haridev and Brahmakund and Manasi Ganga, Chakaleshwara Mahadev, and Sanatan Goswami's sitting place, and Mukharavinda. So all these places are together, circumambulating Manasi Ganga. So that's what the Parikrama did today. Very, very beautiful Parikrama. Wonderful. So we'll chant our Damodarastakam and see how we go. Namamishwaram Satchitanandarupam Lasatgunalam Gokule Brajananam Yashodaviyoloka Ladavanam Paramsam Atyanta Dodvicharogyam Rudam Tamuhuryetra Yugman Vijantam Taram Bhojayodnena Satankanetram Mosvasakam Bhatvirehankakanta Stitagrayavadamodaram Bhakti-Vardhanam Idriswalilavi Anandakunde Swagoshami Bhajanta Akyabhayantam Tadeshitanyeshu Bhaktairvidharvam Pura Prematastam Shatavriti-Bande Varam Deva Moksham Na Mokshamadhimva Natanyam Reneham Varishadapira Idam Deva Purnatha Gopalapalam Saramimam Asya Virastam Vimanye Idam Te Mukham Doja Adyam Janile Ritam Kuntalai Snigdha Raktaishchogya Murstumlitam Bimba Raktaram Me Manasyani Rasnamalam Nakshalam Namo Deva Namo
Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukha Jalapimarnam Kripa Drishi Vrishyati Dinam Vadanu Grihani Shabhamagya Nithyaksi Drishyadam Kuberana Jobhadha Yodeva Tvaya Mujito Bhakti Bhajo Krutaucha Satha Prema Bhakti Svakami Prayaksha Namo Shiva Homisti Damodarastakam Namaste Sudhamne Spurtadipidhamne Vadiyodharayata Vishwasya Dhamne Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nandavilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nandavilaya Devaya Tubhyam Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Jai Gaura Hari Bol Jai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Jaya Nityananda Rai Jaya Nityananda Rai Nityananda Rai Jaya Nityananda Rai Jaya Nityananda Rai Jaya Nityananda Rai Nityananda Rai Jaya Nityananda Rai Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radha Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radha Jaya Radhe
Radha Damodar Ju Ki Jai, Jai Radha Govinda Ju Ki Jai, Jai Nityananda Rai Ki Jai, Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai, Jai Nitya Leela Pravishta Om, Asto Tarazara Shishimad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Nitya Leela Pravishta Om, Asto Tarazara Shishimad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai Nitya Leela Pravishta Om, Asto Tarazara Shishimad, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Leela Pravishta Om, Asto Tarazara Shishimad, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Srila Gaura Kishodas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Saptam Goswami Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai, Jai Vaishnav Sabhavoma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Srila Baladevi Dibhushan Gauri Vedantaracharya Ki Jai, Jai Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai, Jai Narottam Srinivas Yamananda Prabhu Traya Ki Jai, Jai Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai, Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Shibata Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Paradasa Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu's Ki Jai, Jai Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Gauda Parsada Ki Jai, Namacharya Shulhardas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Sikha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Shri Gauda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai, Shri Antadvip Mayapur Simantadvip Gautramdvip Madhyadvip Koladvip Ritudvip Janudvip Maudamdvip Rududvip Atmaka Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Baduravan Bandiravan Belvan Lohavan Mahavan Madhuvan, Talvan, Kamudvan, Bahulavan, Brindavan, Kadyavan, Kamyavan, Brajamandal Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopiko Govardhan Vadasavar Matmika Shri Brajamandal Ki Jai. Shri Radha Kun Shama Kun Ganga Jamuna Devi Tulsi Devi Maharani Ki Jai, Shrimati Brinda Devi Maharani Ki Jai, Shrimati Yogamaya Purnamasi Devi Maharani Ki Jai, Gopashwa Mahadev Ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ki Jai, Ketramandal Ki Jai, Sarva Vigna Vanasakari Shina Shingadev Bhagavan Ki Jai, Bhakta Pravashri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai, Charidam Ki Jai, Chari Sampradaya Ki Jai, Chari Acharya Ki Jai, Akara Matraj Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai, Shri Keshav Ji Gaudiya Mat Ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. Om Aginati Mirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Guruve Gauda Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarabhaktaya Namo Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Shtapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Shvapadantikam Priya Surupe, Daita Surupe, Prema Surupe, Sahaja Virupe, Nijana Rupe, Prabhu Ekarupe, Tatana Rupe, Swavila Surupe, Anapita Chirim Chirat Kurunavardino Kala, Samarpaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Svabhakti Shriyam, Hari Purata Sundaradati Katamba Sadipita, Sada Hridare Kandare Spuratu Vasachinandanaha, Yam Prabhajantamana Petyam Apeti Krityam, Dvaipayano Viraha Kadara Ajuhava, Putre Titam Mayatayo Taravo Benedustam Sarvabhutam Hritim Munimanatoshmi, Bhaktiya Vina Aparada Lakshay, Shiptasya Karma Ditarangamadye, Kripamai Tvam Sharanam Prapana, Brinde Namaste Charanarvindam, Bhajami Radham Aravinda Netram, Smarami Radham Madhurashmitasyam, Vadami Radham Karuna Baradram, Tato Mamanasti Katina Kapi, Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvaivina, Eti Vignaya Radhe Tvam Nayamam Charantikam. I'm first of all offering millions and millions of Dandava Pranams unto the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev, Nitya Leela Pravishta Om, Asto Tarsara Shishimad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again millions of times unto the lotus feet of our beloved Nitya Leela Pravishta Om, Asto Tarsara Shishimad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and all our Rupanuga Guru Varga, and all the Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandava Pranams to all of you. Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha, Kripa Sindhuvevacha, Patitanam Papnibhyo Vaishnaveva. So yesterday we discussed the glories of Srila Bhakti Rakshak, Srila Dev, from that very beautiful book. So, and we also discussed Virabhadra Prabhu. So today we'll come back to our Damodarastakam study, page 64 we're on to today. I'll just read the last translation of the verse before we come to the new section. So the whole emphasis I'm appreciating in these verses is to come in contact with the Brijabasis, to come in contact with Krishna's own family, to know the nature of the Brijabasis. And there's two beautiful verses that my Gurudev quotes from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Virajantim abhivyaktam brajavasi janadishu ragatmikam anurista yasa raguno chita. This means devotional service imbued with spontaneous, profound love and attachment, ragatmika bhakti, is vividly expressed and manifested by the eternal residents of Vrindavan. This is what the whole Damodarastakam commentary is all about. Come to Vrindavan, develop the relationships with the Brijabasis, and who is the principal Brijabasi is Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, these personalities. Devotional service that follows their devotional mood is called Raganuga Bhakti, or devotional service following in the wake of the Ragatmika associates and Sri Radha Krishna in Braj. So there's a small commentary to this verse. This verse is on page 274 of the little Shlokamrita book. So I'm reading from this just now, just to substantiate the moods, clarify the moods of the importance of following the Brijabasis. So this is by Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. He's saying, it is essential to clearly understand the difference between Ragatmika and Raganuga. Rag means profound attachment for the object of one's love, or that towards which the heart goes spontaneously without any effort or deliberation. So that's a very high stage. Just run straight to Krishna. That has to be, we have that already inherently within us. Nityasiddha Krishna Prem Sadhu Kabunai. We said many times that potential is there, but how can we release that potential except by being in the association of those who have already released that potential? In other words, the Mahabhagavats or those great Vaishnavas. Then very easily this potential will manifest. We'll be in the fire, so to speak, and our own internal blazing will manifest in reciprocation to that association. And anuga means following in the footsteps. Therefore, the term ragatmika refers exclusively to perfected souls, the eternal associates of Sri Radha and Krishna in Braj, while rag anuga refers to conditioned souls who practice bhakti in this world with an intense greed to attain the rag atmika bhav of the Brijbasis. So we know these two terms well, I think everyone knows that Raganuga means to follow in the wake of the Rag Atmikas. The Rag Atmika, their Atmas are soaked in Rag, like Lalita, Vishaka, etc., the eternal residents of the spiritual world. And we are in the wake, following behind those personalities. And we are also Rupanugas. We are following Sri Rupa Goswami. So these three terms we should be very familiar with. Ragatmika, Raganuga, and Rupanuga. They're quite distinct. I want to read one more verse just to appreciate this. This is the definition of Raganuga Bhakti in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, because this is what the topic is really about. This is what our whole Niyama Seva is about. This is what our whole Kartik Brat is about. How to wake up this dormant rag that's within us towards the residents of Vrindavan. And these commentaries are all focusing so beautifully on this direction. So there's another verse here from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 22, 149 verse. Ragatmika Bhakti Mukhya, Brajavasi Jane, Tara Anugata Bhaktira Raganuga Nam. That devotion whose very essence is constituted of eternal, spontaneous attachment, rag, is known as Ragatmika Bhakti. That devotion is topmost amongst all forms of bhakti and manifests only in the Brijbasis. Only in the Brijbasis. They're in Madhurya, that Madhurya mood. So this rag can only manifest in this kingdom of Madhurya. That devotion is topmost amongst all forms of bhakti and manifests only in the Brijbasis. Devotion which follows in the wake of this Ragatmika Bhakti is known as Raganuga Bhakti. So that's a very similar verse to the previous one I said. But we just get the idea. There are so many verses in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu pointing to following the residents of Vrindavan. And the more we immerse ourselves in this Dambanda Lila, the more these truths will reveal themselves. They'll jump out to us. So I'm just going to read this last translation here from from Bhagavatam 11:240. Saintly people who have firmly devoted themselves to serving Bhagavan with deep love constantly engage in kirtan of their most beloved names of Krishna. When deep attachment, anurag, arises in them, their hearts thoroughly melt and they become mad in love of God. They laugh and cry loudly. Agitated by love, they sing about their Lord in sweet voices, just like madmen. Without a trace of shyness, they dance and sing, unaffected by the opinions of ordinary people. A very beautiful appreciation of those on that spontaneous stage. So now we're coming into further. This chapter, or this verse 3, is describing these this mood of swarasiki. Swarasiki I was describing. Do you remember what swarasiki means? Huh?
Multiple pastimes.
Multiple, just coming like a continual flow. But as opposed to mantramayi upasana is a single pastime. So the verse 2 before was just focusing on the Dambanda Lila exclusively. That's mantramayi upasana. This verse 3 is focusing on so many different pastimes. My Gurudev is revealing so many different leelas. So this is swarasiki upasana, which is considered higher than mantramayi upasana. So we should be familiar with these terms. So now we come into more pastimes. The evil demoness Putana, who would murder small children and drink their blood. It's described by Jiva Goswami in his Gopal Champu, that Putana would eat small children like piles of rice. You imagine? It's hard to conceive, but Jiva Goswami writes like that. Piles of rice. She would eat children like that in Gokul. And Nanda Baba, he gives millions of cows in charity at that time. And they're all got gold-plated hoofs and nice embroidered cloths on their back, etc. And he's just giving and giving and giving and giving. There's no limit to his munificence, to what he can give. That's the mood of the Brijvasis. They just give and give and give. But they're giving to Krishna, of course, in glorification of Krishna. Every day, Sri Krishna would perform beautiful, sweet pastimes like these and immerse the residents of Braj in an ocean of bliss. There are those who know him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the controller of all others. They know him as the possessor of all potencies, as the causeless, original cause of all other causes, as the supreme being who has no equal, what to speak of a superior, and as he who makes the impossible possible. Yet by these pastimes, he is showing such knowledgeable personalities that he can only be controlled by bhakti. This is the Tattva Siddhanta that we really want to hear. We really want to catch this. This is more important than anything. It really is. We have so much gyan. We have a wealth of pastime, of the Puranic scriptures, etc. But in the end, how can we control Krishna by our prem, by our love? This point, we really want to be able to appreciate deeply. What kind of bhakti can control him? The four Kumaras, Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, and Sri Narad, Sri Uddhav, and the Yadavas, as well as many others, all have some form of bhakti, but their bhakti can never control him. Aishwarya stila prem nahi mora prita. I am not pleased by love that is weakened by awe and reverence. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita 3:16, Adi Lila 3:16. This verse is mentioned twice. It's mentioned in Adi Lila 3 and Adi Lila 4, that Krishna will not be controlled by the moods of awe and reverence. They don't melt his heart. I think these are quite simple concepts to appreciate, but how can we actually go there and do like that? How can we actually be free enough to express our heartfelt affection and attraction to Krishna without stumbling into the reverential prayers and so on? I mean, when death is approaching, what are we going to be thinking about? Each one of us will be thinking something different, of course. Yam yam vapi smarambhavam tyajat yanti kalebram. We'll all be thinking, but if we've sufficiently purified our consciousness during this life, and we can focus exclusively on Krishna and how to bring him happiness, what will please Krishna? This is not so easy to attain. Devotees who have reverential love for Krishna stand before him with folded hands, offer him prayers. But if someone loves him with a mood similar to one of the Brijvasis, like Subal, Sridhar, Madhumangal, Mother Yashoda, Nanda Baba, or above all, one of the Brajagopis, then Sri Krishna will come under his control. Among the Brijvasis, the Brajagopis are supreme, and among them, Sri Radhika is topmost. If someone's devotion to Sri Krishna is like the devotion of Srimati Radhika's maidservants, then he can control Sri Krishna completely. The following verses celebrate these facts. This is really what my Gurudev wants to speak. He wants to speak on the glories of the Brajagopis, because this is our path, this is the Anugatya that we are in from Rupa Goswami. He wants to accentuate that, he wants to bring that forward in a very prominent way, which he's done in all of his teachings. So we have this word. Oh, I'll sing this one. Ananga Ranga Mangala Prasanga Bangura Pruva Savi Brahmam Shasambramam Nrikanta Bhanupatane Nirantaram Vashikrita Pratiti Nandanandane Kada Kalishya Shiyama Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam. Shri Radha Kripa Kataksha Stavaraj, verse 3. So generally in Kartik, we try to sing this twice a day, or at least once a day, every day. O Sarveshwari, mistress of all control, Radhika, on the stage of amorous sport, in the course of an auspicious discussion, you express amazement by curving your eyebrows like bows, and then suddenly firing the arrows of your side lances, piercing the son of Sri Nanda with amorous delusion and bringing him under your perpetual control. When will you make me the recipient of your merciful sidelong glance? So this very beautiful verse to appreciate. Even Sri Sita, the wife of Bhagavan Sri Ram, could not control Sri Ram by her love. Sri Ram gave her up and sent her to the forest to live in exile. Could Sri Krishna ever banish Srimati Radhika from his house in Nandagaon? Srimati Radhika does not even live in his house with him. He becomes so nervous in her presence that he could never ask her to leave his house. What to speak of banishing her from it forever? The reason he becomes so nervous around her is because he is always impassioned with love for her. Love is a very vulnerable experience. It's a very vulnerable quality. When you love someone fully, deeply, immersed in that love, you have no boundaries or barriers there, isn't it? That experience, when pure love is there, it's just, you just empty yourself fully and not considering any type of consequence or anything like that. So Krishna is feeling like that in front of Radhika. He's like totally open. His mood is just open to whatever Sri Radhika wants to do. And she can sometimes send him a powerful glance like we've just described, which just brings him onto the ground. When she instructs him in the various arts, such as dancing, he fears that he may make some mistake. You can read this.
प्रिया को नाच नचावत सिखावत प्यारी मान गुमान लखूटी लिए ठारी डरावत कुंज बिहारी.
While instructing his beloved in the art of dancing, Sri Radhika watches him with a cane in her hand, ready to chastise him. Her cane is her sulky, contrary mood, which causes Sri Kunja Bihari to fear making any mistake. That's so beautiful. When Sri Radhika spontaneously becomes inflamed with man, jealous anger, either with or without a cause, Sri Krishna prays, Smaragarala Kandanam, Mama Sirasi Mandanam, Dei Pada Palavam Udaram. This is from Sri Gita Govinda. O my beloved, Cupid's powerful poison is devastating me. Please be merciful to me and place upon my head the cooling, tender petals of your lotus feet. So, Jayadev Goswami couldn't write this verse. Jayadev Goswami was in the 9th century, and Mahaprabhu had not advented. Jayadev Goswami was such a rasik poet, describing so many amorous pastimes of Radha and Krishna, but he could not comprehend the control that Radhika ultimately has over Krishna. In Jayadev Goswami's mind, Krishna is still the Supreme Personality of Godhead, lodged fully. He cannot be otherwise. And this idea of him bowing down to the lotus feet of Sri Radhika, absolutely he couldn't write that. He left his pen, went to the Ganga. Krishna came in himself and wrote this verse. This is the famous story that we hear, that it's Krishna who's writing this verse. He is surrendered. Krishna can do that. But Jayadev Goswami, so it gives us an impression of this history from Krishna in Dwapara Yuga to the time of Mahaprabhu. There was not any mood, practically, of this Ragatmika Bhakti, or Raganuga Bhakti, this Braja Bhakti, Bhakti Ras, was practically not there. Everyone was in awe and reverence in their worship. Only when Mahaprabhu appears and explains himself, Krishna explains himself, the nature of Parakya, then that whole opening of Braja Ras, Braja Bhakti can actually manifest. Without Mahaprabhu, the key is not there. Amazing, isn't it? That's 5,000 years after Krishna's Leela in Vrindavan. No one understood what Krishna was doing in Vrindavan 5,000 years ago. No one really at all. Even Uddhav, he goes there. He prays to be a blade of grass. Lord Brahma also wants to be a stone. They don't have that connection. The connection only comes through Mahaprabhu. We have to every single day count our fortune to be at this particular time on this side of Mahaprabhu's advent. If we'd been on the other side, we wouldn't have understood these things. We may have heard of these things, but we wouldn't have been able to, with our hearts, embrace them. We wouldn't have had the confidence to, without Mahaprabhu. And as Kali Yuga deepens more and more and more, it seems that these topics become more and more open. They're more and more available. We've said many times how Bhaktivinoda Thakur couldn't find a Chaitanya Charitamrita until he was about 25, 26 years old. Anyone, there's millions, probably billions of Chaitanya Charitamritas on everyone's cell phone. It's just all over the world. So this Raganuga Bhakti is so accessible today. This is the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wanted this to be available in every day was alive today. He would be on the internet casting medium. It's where you're going to catch him. We're sitting in a room here now with 6, 7 people, and yet we're speaking to probably 300 or 400 people online. So this is miraculous. It's not easy to adjust because how do I have to imagine that people are sitting behind the screen? I don't easily, I'm not easily able to go to there, but because it's not interactive, we're not speaking with each other very much, just getting thumbs up or something. So this is Jayadev Goswami in the 9th century. Even such a Rasik personality could not understand that Krishna is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead when he's with Sri Radhika. She is his beloved servant many times. This Swadhina Bhartika, this highest heroine, when she controls her beloved. And we, in Tattva Vichar, of course, Krishna is the supreme controller. Aham Sadhavasya Prabhavo Matahar Savarn Bhavata, etc. So many verses describing in Bhagavad Gita how Krishna is the supreme controller. But in Rasa Vichar, he's not. He's controlled by the love. What is the name Radhika? Where does it come from? That Aradhana, to worship. No one worships Krishna with the same intensity as Sri Radhika. Sri Radhika, when she's first manifested from the left side of Krishna, she instantly runs to Krishna to serve him, to bring him pleasure. That's her only consciousness, is how to bring pleasure to Krishna. And all the gopis that she manifests from her Kaya Vyuha all have a similar mood. How can we please Krishna? They have this similar staiba of just wanting to please Krishna hungrily. Nothing else exists in them. So this is why we worship Sri Radhika foremost. We want to worship actually only Radhika in a mood of a manjari, not as a saki. What to speak of bowing at the lotus feet of Sarveshwari Sri Radha? Sri Krishna falls at the feet of Sri Rupa Manjari and Rati Manjari, her maidservants, when, on their Swamini's order, they forbid him to enter Sri Radha's kunj. He begs them for permission to enter, pleads with them and flatters them just to pacify them. Krishna will do this. Radharani will say, I don't want to see anything black, particularly that black fellow. You keep him far away, far away. And the maidservants, the manjari, they're on the gates. And as soon as Krishna, out, no, you can't come, out. Krishna is mortified. Krishna knows that if he doesn't pacify these young maidservants, he will never get in to see Sri Radhika. So he falls down and flatters them repeatedly, and usually succeeds, actually, in flattering them sufficiently so that their hearts will melt, and then they will go to Sri Radhika and try to melt her heart towards Krishna. And it's such a dynamic of intense love. These are the topics of love. These are the topics of rasa that are described by so many, Prabodhananda Saraswati, for example, Radha Rasa Sudhanidhi, and Raghunath Das in Vilap Kusumanjali. All of the Goswamis they've described, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, they've all described these types of topics in the arena of purest love, this Ujjvala Ras. He begs them for permission to enter, pleads with them, flatters them, and just to pacify them. Just see the position of Sri Radha's maidservants. Our worshipable Sri Raghunath Das Goswami says,
पादाब्जयोस्तव विनावर दास्यमेव नान्यत् कदापि समये किल देवि याचे सख्यायते मम नमोस्तु नमोस्तु नित्यं दास्यायते मम रसोस्तु रसोस्तु सत्यम्.
Vilak Kusumanjali. And that's verse 16. By the way, my Gurudev has spoken so many verses on Vilak Kusumanjali, and they're in English, speaking to those ISKCON gurus in 91, 92, 93. So we can listen to those conversations regularly. And that's unedited. That's just straight, direct, his words on these topics. O Goddess, you are capable of bestowing all benedictions, but I do not want anything other than service to your lotus feet. I offer my obeisances forever, to Sakya, the mood of friendship. But the essence of my life, the real essence of my life, is Dasya, the mood of service to Sri Radhika. Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati's eternal identity in Sri Krishna's pastimes is Tungavidya Sakhi, one of Sri Radha's 8 principal Sakhis. But he is also praying to attain the position of being Sri Radhika's maidservant. Yat kinkarishu bahusa kaluka kuvani nityam parasya purushasya shikanda mule tasya kadara sanidirishabhanu jayas tat keli kunja pavanangana marjinishyam. Sri Radha Rasa Sudha Nidhi 8. O daughter of Rishabhanu Maharaj, ocean of rasa, that beautiful boy who wears a graceful tilting peacock feather in his hair is actually the original personality of Godhead. Still, he is always falling at the feet of your maidservants and pitifully begging them with many humble words to gain entrance into your kunj, where the two of you engage in your playful loving pastimes. My life would be successful if I could even be one stick in the broom your maidservants use to clean your delightful kunj. One stick in the broom. What a beautiful prayer. Yat kinkarishu bahu sha kalu kakuvani. One broom stick. You bought that broom today. Imagine one stick in that broom is what he's praying for. Sri Krishna rises when the gopis order him to rise, and he sits down when they order him to sit. You say.
Chachiya bhar chach par hari ko nachaven.
This is by Rasik Khanna. Just see the glories of these ladies of Braj. They make Sri Hari dance for a mere palmful of buttermilk. No other kind of bhakti has the power to control Krishna in this way. This is the essence of our path that we're reading here on these pages, really. My Gurudev has really condensed it within this Leela. It's all within the Leela, and he's bringing it out. It's remarkable, I think, anyway. Mother Yashoda may tell Krishna, "Today, Kanaya, do not take the cows to graze in the forest. It is your birthday." But he will not follow her order. He will eagerly go out to graze the cows. What is in the forest that attracts him so much? Within the forest, he can meet the young Brajagopis and play freely with them, especially with Sri Radha. They meet together in secret places like Radha Kund, Surya Kund, and Kusum Sarovar. Krishna goes out with the Sakhas. The Sakhas love him more than the thousands and millions of their own lives. And Krishna is reciprocating with them. But when he sees a lake, it reminds him of Sri Radhika. When he hears the swans warbling, it reminds him of Radhika's ankle bells. So all of these udipans are reminding Krishna of Radhika, even though he's with all these most loving associates, still he leaves them to go to Radhakund every day for 5 hours. This is the truth of the Ras Leela pastimes. The amorous love that the young Brajagopis have for Sri Krishna is greater even than parental love for him. In fact, their love includes all the qualities of parental affection. I described the other day, my Gurudev is saying that Sri Radhika is ultimately the Swarup of Mother Yashoda. Radhika, she manifests herself in her Vatsalya Prem as Mother Yashoda to reciprocate in pure Vatsalya with Krishna. That Shakti is coming from Sri Radhika. Everything in existence comes from Swarup Shakti. Everything is coming from Swarup Shakti. Krishna is that, he has that independent potency, Shaktiman. But all activity, all creation, everything in existence is coming from Sri Radhika. This is beautifully explained in that chapter 14 of Jayabadama. Very, very clearly, essential chapter to absorb ourselves in. The amorous love that the young gopis have for Sri Krishna is greater even than parental love for him. In fact, love includes all the qualities of parental affection. Therefore, playing with the gopas or grazing his cows is not the primary reason he takes the cows into the forest every day. The main reason he enters the forest is to play with his dearmost gopis. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 8, 201, 204, this is the Ramananda Rai Sangbad. Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami explains that without the help of Sri Radha's Sakhis, Sri Krishna's amorous pastimes will never develop in someone's heart. You can say this.
Radha Krishner Leelayai Ati Gudhatara Dasya Vatsalyadi Bhave Na Hai Gochar.
Actually, all these verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita have a particular meaning. Meter.
Meter.
Yes, yes. They're all the same meter. Radha Krishnera Lila E Ati Gudatara Dasya Vatsalyadi Bhave Nahare Gochara. That's the meter. Sri Radha and Krishna's pastimes in the groves of Vrindavan are extremely confidential. Such pastimes are beyond the grasp of anyone in the mood of Sri Krishna's affectionate servant, friend, or parent.
Sabe eka saki ganera intan atikare saki haite haya e lilar vistara.
Only the damsels of Braj are qualified to see these secret pastimes, and only they can make them expand.
Saki vina e lila pusta nahi hoy, saki lila vistaria, saki avistara.
Only the Sakis are qualified to nourish these secret pastimes, and they take great pleasure in making them expand. Okay.
Saki vina ye lilai anyer nahi gati saki bhave ye tare kare anugati. Radha Krishna kunja seva sajha se hi pae se sajha paite ar nahi upay.
Getting there, yes. No one can see or participate in these pastimes without the help of the young Brajagopis. We actually see, and I've described many times in Vidagdha Madhav, how Radha and Krishna cannot meet without the arrangements of Lalita and Vishaka, and even Madhu Mangal and Subal. Their love is so powerful and all-consuming in their hearts that it creates almost a barrier in their actually meeting each other because it's so strong. They can't just hopelessly run to each other. Lalita and Vishaka, they have to go to so many lengths to arrange their meetings. And when they manage to bring Radhika to Krishna, then Radhika wants to turn away and run away. It's the first thing she wants to do, because she comes overwhelmed with the power of her attraction to Krishna. And with that power of attraction, as I just said, the vulnerability of the heart is just completely open. So it can be a very intimidating place to be when the heart is completely wide open. And that's how Radhika feels. But Radhika has her nature, her Bhaumya Bhav, which she knows pleases Krishna the most. When Radhika is contrary, this is what pleases Krishna the most, because everyone else is compliant with him, but Radhika is not, and nor are her Sakis, Lalita, Vishaka, etc. They're all very bold, this pragalda, towards Krishna. They won't allow Krishna to do anything that's going to disturb Sri Radhika. So it's a play, it's a beautiful play of love. It's the Leela that is manifested to bring out the highest sweetness. Because many times when Radha and Krishna meet, they're just becoming close in their, all the different barriers have actually gone, and they're just becoming close to actually going for a walk together in the park, in the Vrindavan forest, and all of a sudden Jatila comes and everything crashes. So it's this meeting and separation. It's such an amazing dynamic, and only Rupa Goswami weaves it with such brilliant expertise and language. When you can read the beautiful writings of Srila Rupa Goswami, the poetic moods we described yesterday, the beautiful poetry of Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, but Srila Rupa Goswami's poetry far surpasses this, actually. So we should read these books if we want this Shuddha Bhakti, if we want this Bhakti Rasa, if we've come to that point where yes, this is the highest option in my birth, is to attain this, then this is the path that my Gurudev is setting out. Where did I just read? Did I just read that verse? No one can see. Oh, only those fortunate souls who follow in their footsteps by adopting their exalted mood of amorous love for Sri Krishna will attain the ultimate goal of directly serving Sri Radha and Krishna in the kunjas of Vrindavan. There is no other way to obtain this. This is Ramananda Roy. One day, Mahadev Shiva, the chief demigod, set off to see his supremely worshipful Lord, who had just appeared in Braj. Arriving at the gate of Nanda Maharaj's home, he sang loudly, Alaka Niranjan, Alaka Niranjana, and played his drummaroo, a kind of hand drum. So there's a footnote describing this phrase. This phrase is used to beg alms in the names of Sri Bhagavan, or simply to make one remember him. It is a description of Paramatma, who is invisible, Alaka, Alaka, and aloof from Maya, Niranjana. But when Mother Yashoda came to the door when she heard him singing and playing his drum. But when she saw the appearance of this unusual yogi, she became afraid. He wore rose skin and a garland of human skulls. Dangerous serpents adorned his hands, feet, and neck, and he held a tall, fearful trident by his side. His body was smeared from head to toe, ashes from a crematorium ground, and his thoroughly matted hair made him look ancient and even more dreadful. His carrier, Nandi, a massive bull, accompanied him. Seeing that terrible-looking yogi was approaching her, accompanied by Nandi, Yashoda became utterly terrified. Nevertheless, she asked him dutifully, "Do you want some alms? Just wait, and I will bring them for you." Mahadev Sankar replied, "O mother, I have walked so far to come here from my house in Kailash. Just show me your baby. I just want to see your darling child. Eat or drink whatever you like and then go," she said. "And do not play your drummaroo so loudly. My child is sleeping." Sankarji said, "O innocent mother, I do not want your flour and beans or silk clothes and bags, nor do I want anything to eat, drink, or wear, or rest upon. I have come to see your darling son just once. This is the only donation I need." Mother Yashoda hesitated and then said to him, "I am an adult, yet your appearance terrifies me. My darling boy is so young, he will become too afraid if he sees your form, so I will not show him to you." And she went inside the house. Sri Sankar, the foremost demigod, was not about to leave without seeing Sri Krishna. He sat down by the door and lit a ceremonial fire. "When your beautiful son grows a little older," he thought, "he will come outside to play, and I will finally be able to see him. I will not return to Kailash without seeing him." This was the same mood as the fruit seller. Absolute resolve to have darshan. To this day, the place near Nanda's home, where Mahadev Sri Sankara was sitting, is known as Yogiya Kund. Mother Yashoda entered the house and found her darling baby boy crying loudly. Nothing she tried would pacify him, so she consulted her friends. A respected elder Gopi spoke. "This is not an ordinary yogi. He is from the sacred mountains of Kailash. When your boy heard him playing his drum, he became afraid, and now he has started to cry more and more loudly. It should be wise to show him your dear son at least once." Seeing no other recourse but to show her son to the extraordinary yogi, Yashoda Mai placed Krishna in a black basket and covered all his limbs with black cloth to protect him from inauspiciousness. She anointed his eyes with thick black eyeliner and marked his forehead with a black dot. Then she reluctantly brought Krishna outside and allowed the yogi just a brief glimpse of him. To her astonishment, when she was turning to enter her house, she noticed that Krishna had stopped crying. Sri Sankar, the king of mystics, spoke to her. "Mother, I will light a ceremonial fire and stay nearby. If ever your blessed child falls prey to some evil, just call for me. I will chant mantras to ward off any evil effects with mustard seeds and salt, and he will be restored to health." Thereafter, whenever Krishna would cry, she would call the yogi from his dwelling. Can you sing that?
योगी चलो नंद भवन में, यशोमती मैया तुम्हें बुलावे। वाके लाल को नजर लगी है, ताई पैरनु करवेन। नहीं रह योगी नंद भवन में, व्रज में वास सदा तू कीजो। जब जब वाको लाला रोवे, तब तब दर्शन दीजो।
Maybe Padma could sing it more, Bhushpasi, but very nice. "Yogi, come to Nanda Bhavan. Krishna's devoted mother, Yashoda Mai, is calling you. Her dear son has come under an evil eye. Ward off its effect with mustard and salt. Stay here. Yogi, just stay here in Nanda Bhavan. Please live in Braj forever. Whenever her darling son cries, come and give him your darshan. This is the life. Thus, the life of that yogi became successful." So we'll stop there for today. But these are the different pastimes that can be inspired from this verse. Ananda Kunde, this blissful kund of that is drowning the inhabitants in blissful pools of ecstasy. So all these pastimes together, they constitute that Ananda Kund, that blissful kund. So Sri Damodarastakam ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Lord Premanandi, Haribol. If these leelas are charming your heart, are melting you, then share them regularly with the devotees around you and sit and read this beautiful Damodarastakam together and bring out all the beautiful points that are contained within this Astakam. We can do that by ourselves in our own places regularly. Shri Damodarastakam ki jai, Anantakota Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Go Premanandi, Vansha Kalpa Turubhyascha, Kripa Sindhu Vedcha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavena.